I'm here for you. I got it. Good meeting last night.
Yeah.
No, I just brought her along.
No, she's there for the meal after we were done.
Morning, Jody.
Morning, Jody.
Guess we'll see a lot of them.
What? Keep it in the family.
Wouldn't that be?
That's what Carol Johnson one time. She was in, right? And then he was one, and then she ended up, and then he did.
That made for an awkward Christmas.
Yeah.
They drew straws, he lost.
It is 9 o'clock and I'll call the meeting of the Cottington County Board of Commissioners to order. Let's begin with pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Schwer, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, number 2 on the agenda is call for public comment. So public comment can be submitted in person, and I think we have a few people today that are going to do that toward the end of the agenda. Or either in person or at these 2 telephone numbers, and they are 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297. Are there any conflict? Oh, and if you have a cell phone, please silence it. And if you need to take a call, please step out of the room. Are there any conflict of interest items for any commissioners?
No.
No, for me. And then I would entertain a motion to approve our agenda.
So moved.
So
I'll
moved by
second that.
Waterman, second by Schwer. Any comments? I think we might have a need for executive session at the end. Yeah, per person. Okay. Any comments? Otherwise, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. That motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from?
So
the-
Move.
So motion by Johnson, second by Van Dusen. Any comments or corrections? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. That motion carries. Thank you. Reports. Extension, Jody, come on down.
Morning, Jody.
Morning.
Morning.
I don't have this on my notes, but our Northeast Dash, 4-H Teen Dash met this last Saturday at the regional library. We kind of did a poverty simulation, and Sarah Faust from the welfare office came and talked to the youth. And then we put over 50 blessing bags together that we're going to bring to the welfare office, and she will disperse them from there. Our Clover Buds are meeting this month. We have about 40 Clover Buds so far. Members are still re-enrolling and enrolling for the new year. Next week, I'll be going early to Florence School to go into the classrooms to do some nutrition classes and then have Clover Buds after school. So I'm already at the school, so I'm gonna do some lessons there also. Our shooting sports registration is now open, everything that everyone's been waiting for. And so youth are registering for archery, BB gun, air pistol, and air rifle right now. And all those classes will begin in January 2024. And then our farm show prep will begin soon. We've already met pre-December, but we'll be meeting again with our 3 lunch counters. And then 4-H youth will get the opportunity to bring their exhibits there again also. And we'll have a booth in the field house with those also. So any questions?
What to keep track of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd. So next, Veteran Service Officer.
You beat that one, Todd?
I'm gonna do a little bit longer than that,
Good morning,
but, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Veterans Council or Veteran Service Office here. Numbers for last month. Currently 174 open working claims, 99 pending action from the VA, 229 claims completed year to date. Monthly compensation increase of $3,251. Year to date, $104,375. Retro payments, $32,429 for the month of November. Year to date, $1,163,182. 4 veteran transports in November. Currently 1 scheduled for December, but we've already got, I think, 1 or 2 in January and 1 for February also, so. Up there, you saw that we have 99 pending claims at the VA. Right now, the VA backlog continues to grow every day. They're projecting it to peak around 400,000 claims backlog in 2024. So
That's nationwide or?
that is nationwide. Again, that's having some impact on how claims are processed, how they're looked at. VA is changing things as far as how they process the claims. At times I would say that in the 3.5 years that I've been here, even though COVID was when we first started, right now it's I would say the quality of the VA work is average. It just seems like we have to do a lot of reviewing of claims to make sure that they're correct and they catch everything. Medical examinations for claims. A lot of veterans within the last couple of months have had a lot of cancellations because, you know, the claims, the medical side of things are not done by the VA. They're done by third-party contractors. So these contractors are trying to find providers with the amount of claims, like a hypertension. If I have a veteran comes in and wants to file for hypertension, for them to get into a doctor, it's probably going to be, or a provider, it's probably going to be 4 months, maybe, you know, so again, that just takes everything.
So the contractors want making the appointments for them or the actual care?
The contractors have people that make the appointments. They're usually based out of California,
Yep.
Texas, and then they.
I've experienced a long wait when I.
Yep.
You probably have to.
So I just trying to give, you know, basically, you know, we tell our veterans, you know, be patient, be aware, be ready for the phone call, be ready for the next day cancellation of an appointment. They just have to be really flexible when they're working through the claims process there. I did attend the legislative roundtable at the American Legion on the 16th of November. Representative Byron Calise and Fred Deutsch were there. That's where the State Veterans Council, they usually pick, you know, 3 or 4 topics or concerns that they want our legislatures to maybe help support. So I was basically there in a listening capacity from that standpoint. They did talk, a few highlighted areas there. They did talk about a study for veteran assisted living or nursing home care. Again, we have the Hot Springs that has the state veterans home out there. Should there be something back here on this side? Everybody knows that the need for that type of care is getting harder and harder to come by. So that was one thing they talked about. They also talked about the veterans or the VSO wage increase and reimbursement to counties, about addressing that. They also talked about county council consolidation for the VSO services. Secretary Whitlock did mention there might be some a possibility of some state options that they might be looking at from that standpoint for veteran services. And then along, we had a pretty good discussion about veteran transportation to medical appointments. Again, this isn't just for Codington County. It was also Hamlin, Dual, you know, that area for District 5 from that standpoint. So that was interesting. if you were at the Veterans Day ceremony, you would have seen that Ben Paul was selected and announced as the 2023 Codington County Veteran of the Year. He is a member in several local veterans organizations, but spends much of his time and energy representing the Compesca Northeast chapter of the Marine Corps League. He exemplifies the title of veteran and is a great asset to our community. Currently, we're planning our open house at the new location on 7 December from 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Stop in and see the new office. We'll have some coffee and cookies there. If you're out and about, we are also a drop-off box for the Toys for Tots. So if you want to drop some of that into the box there for the kids in our community, it'd be great. Our work study, Julia Larson, she'll be accomplishing, or basically her first contract will end on 13 December. We will be submitting a new contract for the next semester, basically 8 January through 10 May. She's making good progress on going through all the records. We were working a little bit with the Register of Deeds to make sure that when we get ready to turn over the DD 214s and stuff like that, for them to make sure that they're updated in the system. So that's going good. It's a project. We found that we had some of the stuff that maybe we had scanned in the past. Maybe we need to rescan some of that stuff because some of it's not legible. And if it's not legible, it's not much good. The future, again, we're always looking for new drivers. The VA has waived, or we have a waiver option for COVID-19 vaccination. So if there was a couple of people that were out there, we haven't called them back yet, but you don't need to have a COVID vaccine to be a VA van driver for us from that standpoint. So stop in the office if you're interested. I meet with the commanders tonight. We'll be on the radio, KWAT and KXLG on Thursday morning. Good.
Just so folks know, the location of your new office is on 19th Street, just north of First Avenue, north of Casey's there, by the
Yep,
VA, north of the VA.
Yep.
So if they want to stop for that open house,
Yeah,
what's the feedback you're getting from the public on that location?
A lot of positive feedback from that standpoint, and a lot of good comments from that. Yeah, it's all been positive from that standpoint. I guess I have one that's, wow, it's an awful long walk from the parking lot to the door. And well, but overall, it's been very receptive.
No stairs to climb.
No stairs to climb. Thank you for that.
And just a comment on the discussion about the consolidation of VSOs at the legislative level. So I think I might have mentioned, since we're talking about it a little bit now, but we had a meeting of the South Dakota Associated County Commissioners Executive Board to discuss, legislative stuff, and we had a couple of legislators come in. In general, the flavor was that probably not, that the state's looking at their own budget, so funding new stuff is kind of a challenge. On the other hand, it does kind of, you have CBOCs only in certain counties, and that kind of is the draw, I think, and that's how we end up with, veterans CU, and now it's even closer to the CBOC. So CBOC is the Veterans Clinic, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. So I don't know, that's something, it sounds like it's going to gravitate down to where counties kind of work together and figure out agreements. And that, I know, Davison County, Mitchell, has they've done that in a more formalized way.
Yep.
So maybe something down the road to think about. So, so I can't tell you. I'd have to look into the details. I can't tell you if that means like that the neighboring counties just bring their VSOs or just use the Davison County VSO. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but
I think what happened down there is some of the neighboring counties they're smaller population,
Right.
but the VSO retired or just
Yeah.
left the job. And they reached over and said, hey, if you want, we will help. But then the stipend that county would have gotten then would go back to
Davison County.
Yeah.
so I know he's just one of the commissioners from Davison County is on the executive board. He's very happy with the arrangements. So,
Kiner?
something.
One of the things that they're going to have to look about,
Kind of.
is some of the opposition to that could be the loss of local control, for
Yeah.
counties. So we have to
You know, the only thing that I spoke up, I just said, when they get ready to have the discussion,
Mhm.
make sure that you maybe have a variety of people that are openly discussing, not necessarily for or
Pros and
against, but
cons.
just pros and
Yeah.
cons
Yeah.
from a
Yeah.
standpoint.
I think probably the key thing though on that is the service to the veteran.
Mhm.
You know, Todd and his associate, they work full time. And they study the ins and the outs of all of the paper. There's so much paperwork that goes with this stuff nowadays that how could an auditor or someone that has another job in the county take on that and do a good job?
Yeah.
So are those veterans really being represented the way they should be? And my answer right off the top of my head is no.
It's a whole other level of expertise to get to know how to do a
Yep.
claim
They
package.
are here, though.
What?
They are being represented well here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Todd.
What you're doing.
Thanks, Todd. Okay, next on the agenda, we have number 7, and that's action to approve the purchase of 2 motor graders for the highway department as budgeted in 2024. And I saw Rick out in the hallway and there he is. Next, come on down.
We almost didn't see you, Rick.
Almost lost your motor.
Pretty good.
It's that bright shirt you got on.
Okay.
That does help. Thanks. This didn't make it into the packet. Okay.
Thank you. Here, I'll pass it down.
Oh, nice. As I asked for Sourcewell quotes for 2 motor graders from RDO and Butler Equipment. The first page, you can see what RDO gave. Their list price was $469,574.53. They had a trade-in of $140,000 for each motor grader. So the price per motor grader is $329,574.53, with a total of $659,149.06. Butler came in with their price of $517,568.63. Their discount was $27,902.10. They offered $164,850 a piece for each motor grader. So their price was $324,816.53, with a total of $649,633.06, with a difference of $9,516 cheaper than RDO. And you guys got the specs, each one got the specs emailed to them, and they sent back what each one has. So
Do you have a recommendation?
my recommendation is to take the Butler bid.
Budgeted.
It's a budgeted item for next year. We need to get these ordered so we can get them in roughly. Butler said it would be roughly 6 months before we got the machines. RDO was the same, except when they get the machine in, it goes to Falls to have the wing put on. And it's 2 more months, so it'll be 8 months before we get a machine. But my recommendation is to go with Butler. They were the lowest bid.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
517, 568.63.
So we have a motion by Van Dusen, a second by Schwer to purchase the 2 motor graders from Butler at a price of $649,633.06. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We'll say no. That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. They don't get any cheaper.
Okay, number 8 is action to accept a South Dakota Community Foundation for the Beyond Idea grant.
Hello. Hi.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, Sarah.
Good morning. Okay, so this first one, I'm very excited to, let you know that we were awarded this Beyond Idea grant. This is a $100,000 grant from the South Dakota Community Foundation. Not a match grant or anything like that. The purpose of the grant was what we applied for. We will be, it will fund a needs assessment to, better gather data and make sure we're working from data that we have, for what we need in our community. It will also fund some community events so that we can hold some events for our community to spread awareness of what our needs are and to increase that positive outlook that we have in our community. Also salary for Angela, that's been providing assistance for me so we can continue to contract with her, as well as technical assistance to contract with some other people to help lead the collective impact work that we're doing. And then finally, advertising to raise awareness and support of the collective impact and the Codington Connects information that we have. So that's what that grant is for,
What was the amount again?
$100,000.
You said that right.
Yeah.
Move to accept.
Motion by Johnson to accept this grant,
I'll second it.
second by Schwer. Any questions, discussion?
Sir, maybe you mentioned, is there a partial match on that?
No,
No?
free and clear. It will just be a pass through,
It covers what length of time?
1 year.
So the money's purely from South Dakota Community Foundation. It's not
Yes,
like federal.
yeah, well, it's actually Bush
Connected.
Foundation funding that the South Dakota Community Foundation received Bush Foundation funding
Okay.
to spread good work throughout the
Okay.
state of South Dakota.
So
That's
the,
fantastic.
so the follow-up
Yeah.
is not as, well, let's just say a federal.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We'll say no. That motion carries.
Thank you for your work
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank
That's
you.
a
Yeah,
big
Just
deal.
to announce quickly too, we also received the $50,000 for the childcare assistance grant. That was we worked with the Department of Watertown Economic Development or development company, and they received the $50,000. And so that will also go to help support some of this. work
That's
as
through
well.
the city though? Is that-
No, economic development. Or
Watertown
Oh,
Development
sorry,
Company.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they received the
Didn't
money, but it's just, I
Okay.
helped write that grant.
Okay,
So,
good.
yeah.
That's a lot.
You got a lot of kudos from the management up there.
good, good. I'm excited to work with them.
Good job.
On that.
It's a lot of work writing grants so
Mhm.
people know, just so
Yeah.
that, you know, that's, okay.
It's even better when you get them.
Yeah,
Good.
it's worth it.
And number 9 then, so let me just brings us on to number 9, actually to approve the welfare director to be a member of the cross-sector team for the Bureau of Justice Assistance Reaching Rural Advancing Collaborative Solutions Grant application.
And you have, I think you have that grant application in front of you. This is another grant opportunity. I was actually approached by Erin Sertska, she's with USD, the Center for Rural Health Improvement, and she encouraged our community to apply for this. I spoke with, Stacy Hendricks, the director of Brothers and Sisters Behind Bars. And what we're going to look at really aligns with the work that they're doing. This particular portion of the grant, it's a 1 year of a planning grant. And so this first year will just be to fund a group to come together to make a plan to address needs in our community, focused on people involved in the legal system who have a substance use disorder. So the first year, what we have to do is put a team of 6 together and meet on at least a monthly basis and develop a plan. There will be 2 travel session opportunities, which this grant will fund those 6 people to travel to 2 other sites across the United States that are doing this work. It also has to be a rural community. So it's a rural community, people involved with the legal system who have a substance use disorder. What we're going to look at doing is how can we build a support network for those people? So that population mentoring is probably what we're looking at, but just supportive services for that group. And so Brothers and Sisters Behind Bars is actually the one that's going to be applying for the grant. I will assist them in the application then. And then the team that has agreed to be part of this is Judge Means, Officer Alexis Spicey, Carrie Johnston with the Human Service Agency, Cody Martin with the Department of Health, because we have to have a public health official on there. And then Stacy Hendricks, obviously the director of Brothers and Sisters Behind Bars. And then myself as a member of the county.
Who was the third person again?
Carrie Johnston with the
Oh,
Human
Carrie,
Service
great.
Agency.
It's a good makeup. Of
Yeah.
Good group.
Yeah, I think we have a good group together. So I just want permission to be part of this team.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Schwer. Okay, any discussion?
You have time.
Good question. Now that we have the grant, that the other grant will help free up some of the time, but yes,
I mean, you're getting involved in a lot of stuff.
that was actually part of, that was the reason why it was that this is a great idea, but I can't lead it. And so if Stacy's willing to step up and lead it, I can support it, but I can't lead it because of my time.
Yeah.
Good.
One question. You know, I think that's something, a good committee makeup. What's, any direction to involve, like, I see you have Judge Means in there. So you have a criminal justice person. What
Yeah.
about from the law enforcement? Well, you have,
Alexis
oh, you have
Price.
Alexis. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they require two people in the legal system and there's like a bonus if you have a judge.
Mm.
And then,
And I would say just make sure you're touching base with the jail as you do
Yeah.
this too. One of the things we had a Justice Advisory Committee meeting last night, and one of the things we noted was that, say, compared to 2017, when we were going to the voters for a jail, the numbers were very high then. And then they dipped down, they started going down, but then they went way down for COVID. Now they're coming back up to a level that's hopefully not going to be as high as it was in 2017. And I think some of that is due to this kind of stuff where we're looking for alternatives, reducing recidivism. I mean, this is basically a recidivism reducing thing is what it sounds like. So, good, you know, we want to keep hammering away at these kinds of things. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that was on the forefront of my mind as, yeah. So we went with the police department, but we
that's, yeah.
have
But there,
frequent communication with the team.
yeah, there's the aspect of the jail too, that
Yeah.
just to pay attention to. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, just, you know, with looking at the county perspective, you know, when it comes time to build another jail, which, you know, we have an unsafe jail, maybe we don't have to make it as big as we thought we did.
Mhm.
So that, you know, that could save us some money too. So
Yeah.
that's, so,
Mhm.
and it's better for people if you can keep them out of the system. So.
Yeah,
Well, I'm much more supportive of this after finding out who your posse is.
Yeah.
You know, you got some good people there
yeah,
that have done a lot of good things for the community, so.
And you mentioned Alexis Spicy. She's on a lot of these various committees. She is the mental health officer of the police department. So it makes sense that she would be on there as well.
Yeah.
Did you write the grant on this?
no,
No.
this one we haven't written the grant yet.
Then you mentioned boys and girls, or not boys and girls, bars, but
Brothers and sisters.
brothers
behind
and
bars,
sisters
Yeah.
behind bars. Why didn't they come up here?
Cause I didn't ask her to.
I mean, I'm concerned about, you're involved in a lot of things,
Mhm.
and I'm getting to the concern of where is your time gonna be spent?
Yeah,
in the
you know.
future without an expansion in your welfare.
Mhm. We're really trying to be conscientious of where that we're not spending county funds in other ways, and that we're building support and services in our community that are going to support the county but not use county funds. And so that's what this is. Truthfully, as I was walking out the door, I said to Carrie, I was like, I wasn't thinking I should have had the rest of the team come and be here and do that. And they absolutely would have. I just didn't ask them.
Sarah, as I understand this, not to interrupt, and I apologize,
no,
but
that's
as I understand this, you're going to help them draft the grant, but
Mhm.
they're going to manage the grant.
Right, that's
So-
correct.
So
And-
your direct involvement with this is going to be very minimal.
Right, I mean, I'll be part of the team and I'll
Mm.
attend the meetings, but Stacy then will be the primary contact.
Should
with that
be
and all
running.
of that.
Okay.
And so,
Have you ever written a grant, Troy?
Yes, I have.
I tell you
have.
what, that's not minimal.
I have. I've
Well-
taken grant writing courses and it's pretty in depth.
Oh.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and I actually have the application. So the other thing is because there's not actually any funding associated with this portion of the grant, if we come up with a plan, we will have the opportunity to, as a community, to apply for $100,000 a year from now. So if we're selected, and then if our team comes up with a good plan that we can then potentially be eligible for $100,000. Again, that would be Stacy. And if we get to that level of grant writing, they've actually contracted with another grant writer that has done some of that too. So I don't see myself doing that kind of grant writing. This application is put our team and answer 4 questions. And so it's a pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
easy application because there's.
Commissioner Johnson, I wasn't trying to minimize
Yeah.
the grant
Yeah.
writing part of
It-
that, but
it
it's
is-
definitely a lot of work.
It
But I
is a
just
lot
wanted
of-
to say that they would be spearheading the
Mhm.
operation of the grant, so
Yeah.
management of the grant.
Any
Yep.
other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. That motion carries. Right? I think that's,
There's one more
no,
job
no.
description.
Oh, there's one, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
that
Yeah, so
speaks
number
to-
10 is discussion, possible action to approve a revised job description for the Welfare Office Administrative Assistant.
Speaking of devil.
So.
I copied, go for it. I didn't
Okay,
know if they had these, so
Um,
that one for you.
I don't think, I
Okay,
don't
I
think we have
take that over.
copies.
Well, they're updated. Here,
How many you have? Do you have enough for?
yeah. I copied one of my office before I left, sorry. We can pass them around. Okay, so this is to update Carrie's job description, our administrative specialist. And it's just to make it more in line with the work that she's actually been doing. Initially, her job description included some work with our facilities team. We're finding that there's not a lot of work with the facilities team. As she completes her CHW certification, that means that she has more opportunity to, and time to act as a community health worker. We did receive our first payment from Medicaid for the community health workers. And so that portion of her position will be able to bill Medicaid and supplement her salary with that Medicaid portion with that. So it again, won't come out of county funds. So this is just to, again, make it more in line with the work that she's actually doing.
Is there anything on here that's specific that wasn't on the last one? Can you,
Yeah,
just give us one example.
If you-
Duties, extra
Yeah.
duties as assigned, huh?
If you just highlight, yeah, if you just highlight
Yeah.
all the key changes, that'd be good.
Oh, sorry. So some items were deleted from the last job description, as Sarah had mentioned, that had to do with the sharing with facilities. So that is removed. And then the additional items that were added is bullet point third from the bottom under essential duties on page 1, fulfill obligations as the community care coordinator upon completion of community health worker training program. The schedule / number of hours to serve in this position and fulfillment of duties between administrative specialist and CCC to be determined by welfare director based on needs. And then the next one, submit and monitor insurance claims for CHW services. As Sarah mentioned, that's the Medicaid billing on that. And then under minimum qualifications and skills was added the third bullet point, completion / certification of the community health worker training program in South Dakota if serving as community care coordinator. So some items were removed and those items that I just mentioned were added.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
So motion by Johnson, second by Waterman. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Say no. That motion carries.
all right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. All right, so number 11, action to advertise and hire a full-time equalization office administrative assistant to fill a vacancy.
Morning.
Morning.
They just informed me that they changed the format of this, so we will need to okay this new job description as well. However, all of the duties are exactly the same. It's only the format that changed.
We need to, we don't have the job description on the agenda. Is that a big deal? Is it just the
She just
format?
handed it to me.
Is it just the format or is it?
Just the format,
Just format,
nothing
okay,
else
all
has
right.
changed.
No
Okay,
content
okay.
change.
All right, no,
Okay.
No context, just
Okay.
the format.
all right. Okay, give us,
So we have, one of my office staff is moving to Minnesota and she actually got a job working in the assessor's office there. So we're gonna kind of keep in touch and see how they do things there versus here. But since she's leaving, her last day is gonna be this Friday, we need to advertise and hire a replacement for her.
Make a motion.
so a motion by. Van
I'll second
Duzen,
that.
Second by Schwer. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. That motion carries, so
Thank
Bill, thanks.
advertise away. All right, number 12 is review and possible action to approve and sign union contracts. Okay, we're not, none of those aren't ready yet, so we'll vote on that one. Number 13, action to approve a funding agreement with the United States Geological Service for flood monitoring services as budgeted. And I think we have that in our packet.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a yearly contract that we sign for those different locations that they monitor for the flood. And so the amount that we would pay is the two different amounts of 3,010. Which 4,675, 835, and 2,800 for a grand total of $88,310.
Move to approve.
Second.
So a motion by Johnson, second by Waterman. I'm just following those amounts real quick here. So, oh, okay, I see.
Oh.
I see. Okay,
The grand total, because
Right.
the USGS also pays for a portion of
Okay.
this, so.
I get it. So the amount is going to be 8,310.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We'll say no. That motion carries.
No abatements,
Okay, no abatements.
no
No
claims,
claims for
but I
payment.
do have a budget supplement. And that will be for the welfare office, and this is to supplement back in for her Department of Health Innovation Grant in the amount of $18,086.62.
18,000 what?
$18,086.62.
There a motion to approve that budget supplement.
So moved.
So motion by
Second.
Clear, second by Van Dusen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Say no. That motion carries. And number 17, action to approve.
Nothing at this point.
So-
There will be a possibility that we'll have to do a formal budget hearing.
See for,
Yep, just to have it on there for, well, we will do commissioner contingency, but we also may need to do a formal budget hearing as well because of our costs for court appointed attorney.
right.
So,
Okay,
so the commissioner contingency will probably get ate up by some of these other budget things that have happened.
right. Oh, you're saying we might go over that contingency.
Yep.
So, okay.
So
So court
Be
appointed
prepared for
attorneys are
that.
pricey.
monitoring all of that, and as soon as the claims come out now next week, we'll have a better idea where we're sitting with that.
Will we have time for this when we do a supplemental budget hearing like that? Is it?
We'll do that the last week, and I don't have to advertise. I just found out yesterday. We posted on our website and put it on the doors that this will be happening. I think next week we'll just set a date and time for that, just in case, but it will be that last meeting
28
in, yes, 28th of December.
So just.
So we'll do that then for most of that, and the commissioner contingency, I may do that a week prior or something. We'll just see how this all goes.
And just so people know, the last meeting of the year is going to be the 28th of December instead of the 26th, to move that from a Tuesday to a Thursday to allow us to catch a few more of the payments to close out the year. So just for, if people want to follow us on YouTube anyway, so.
No personnel, no
So
travel.
no personnel, no travel requests. Okay, any public notices where a possible form of commissioners could be in attendance at? Tomorrow there's a Republican lunch, so I think that could involve more, quorum. At Pizza Ranch.
Nope, don't have any.
Anything else? Okay, any old business? New business? Okay, it brings us to our open and public comments, and I think we have some folks. Can I get an idea of how many people would like to? Excuse me, how many people would like to speak? So we have one gentleman, just one of you? Okay, we have 4, so I'm counting 4, so let's do, we'll give you 3 minutes apiece. Are you coming up together or as one at a time?
3 minutes is not very much.
Good.
Well, I mean, there's four of you. Please try. Come on, step up, please.
Gordon, Little.
Yeah, step up. Yeah, step up to the microphone.
Thank you, Gordon.
Let us know.
It's already on, Gordon, so just speak
Okay.
into the mic.
Yeah, thank you for coming, by the way. So,
Well, thank you guys for letting me talk. I have,
Gordon Little.
yes.
Okay.
I've learned an awful lot in the last few months since, the pipeline was rerouted to some of my land that I'm farming and some that I own. And, I'd like to share a lot of that with you. 3 minutes is not possible to do it, but I'll start. My first part, what found out about this was they were gonna reroute it, they were gonna route it up through Harmony Hill. Senator Schoenbeck sent a letter to Jim Sire at GLE CEO, said that you better not route through Harmony Hill, otherwise you're not gonna like the legislation we're gonna give you next, which is last year's session. So they rerouted it, they put it to go underneath the river, I understand 25 feet below the river, under 81, up to Brownlee's land, which is right kind of across from the ethanol plant. Follow the river down roughly a half a mile, go back underneath the river, go through a small piece of land there, and I don't know who the owner is, and then up through Steve West's land, which is about a half a mile east of Harmony Hill. And from there, it goes through the Mac land, which I farm, and the hoteling land, which is most of section 17. Now, they want a kitty corner, go through some of the best land in the county with this pipeline. And we've found that it's a lot more hazardous than what we've been led to believe. And I think from what and I don't know this, but I think you guys have gotten some bad advice about what the actual safety hazards are. We have, I brought these different.
We probably won't get to read these now, but if
No, it's quite a read actually, but just so you have them. It's dispersion studies that Navigator Pipeline had to reveal to our lawyer in an Iowa proceedings. Much of it is, as you can see, has been redacted. But there's enough there to start understanding the hazardous contents in this. And that comes right back to, when I say I have a lawyer, well, we have a whole bunch of people that are employing a lawyer out of Omaha to try to stop this eminent domain push for private gain, but also to make people aware of the safety of it. So Summit, when it really got my attention was when Summit Carbon sued me, first time I've ever been sued, and hopefully the last. These people they're not your friends. Well, we found out over time. One time, for instance, Rick Schmidt was down on his dad's land and spotted 8 cars or 9 cars. He took pictures of them that had hidden over the hill just a half a mile east of the round barn. And they were out sneaking through the Mac land, doing their surveys illegally. As soon as they were spotted, they all took off. And we called the sheriffs, but they were gone by the time we were able to get a hold of the sheriffs. But
Mr. Little, so you're at 3 minutes. Can you just?
Okay.
I think we understand.
Okay, all right. So then,
issue, but
from there, I wanted to talk about the safety of it. And if the plume studies show that if the thing blows, how many feet away you have to be able to live, or how far away you have to be to not get neurologically hurt, probably for the rest of your life. So that stuff's in here. And like I said, the hazard levels, one is where the hazard level number 1 is only for not being able to breathe very well and having headaches. Level 2, it just gets a little more serious. And as I understand it, level 4, you're pretty much dead within a minute if you're in that level and you're in that area. And some of those areas are showing hazard level 4 at 417 feet, and then 1,800 feet for hazard level 2. They redacted hazard level 3 so that we don't know, but what we've been able to ascertain we believe it to be over 1,000 feet where you're at high risk. And so there's also a pipeline up in Canada, North Dakota border called the Source Valley Pipeline Limited. And I've seen the emergency plan on this. If you guys saw that, I think I was hoping that somebody would bring that today, but if you saw that, you'd really get your attention. You have to be a mile away from that pipeline on either side to be safe. And the emergency, different things. It's the thing is about this thick, I believe, because I've only seen it on the computer. So, so they're saying the receptors within 2 kilometers, which is 1.2 miles from the pipeline, are people that could be affected by this. So, when I look at all the different safety issues and stuff, we're also looking at what it can do to our land south of town, because it's a Max land and my land is kitty corner from Harmony Hill. It could definitely be development land in sometime. It's very, very good farmland, and it's all tiled. It's really nice, good land. But nobody's gonna, if we run a pipeline through the middle of that at an angle, nobody's gonna want to build there. And I know that's not your issue particularly. I think your issue is probably the safety of your residents. And I read in the commissioner's handbook for South Dakota that your duty as commissioners is to protect the safety of your citizens. So I would hope, and I'm going to wrap this up a lot quicker than I wanted to, but I would hope that you'd seriously think about what this might mean to if there is a rupture, because mechanical, I know Myron knows and Randy knows, and I guess, and Charlie knows, things break. And I don't care how safe they are, how good, whether it's John Deere premium or what, we have sooner or later something breaks. If something breaks, say going up the hill from Steve West's land over the city, carbon dioxide is heavier than air. The plume studies have shown explosions, the thing goes up like a mushroom cloud, and then it drops back down because it's heavier than air and displaces the oxygen. And if you're too close to that, you won't even be able to get your engines to run. Your oxygen for your engines won't run, and it'll follow down the lower terrain. And of course, there's also the wind factor, which way the wind's blowing and stuff. So going up Harmony or up a half mile east of Harmony Hill could affect a huge population in southeastern Watertown. I think this is very serious business, and I didn't have any idea when I first started it. But since all this has happened and getting sued and everything by these people, I have had to learn a lot. So I know that McPherson and Spink County have made ordinances, and which I know they were threatened to be sued by Summit if the county commissioners tried to do anything. And they went ahead anyway, and the opposite happened. The opposite happened, that the PUC said, not only did they not get sued, the PUC said that the county have the rights of the to make the ordinances to protect their citizens. And that's the reason that the Summit's at somewhat of a standstill now. There's a bunch of people that want to push this through. For whatever reason, you can have your own ideas about what that is, why they want to change the laws that will outlaw the county, or just cancel out whatever the counties do and take local control away from the counties. The fact that president or the head of the South Dakota Chamber of Commerce came out last week and said that he's going to support that law to preempt throughout the county's ordinances. So there will be a strong push in the legislature this year to try to negate anything that we do on local control. I think local control is basically what our country's all about. It's if we have local control and we don't allow the state and the federal to supersede us, that's a big win for us as individuals and individual freedoms. And so I really hope you guys would consider just taking the Spink County or the McPherson County regulations and just look at, see if you can adapt them, small changes, and just protect your people. Because who knows if this thing blows somewhere in this county, and who knows, we don't know, but if it does, the county may be at risk liability wise. I don't know that.
Well, I appreciate you coming in. You fit a lot in. You got
I had a lot more, but
Three minutes is up.
You got your point across.
Thank you.
All right, so do we have, how many, is it one, you want to come up? I saw you three raise your hand. Just one, okay, yeah, if you could. Oh, you'd like, okay, would you like to come up, sir? Yeah, please. Same topic?
Yes.
So this is a different, okay, well, why don't we just finish this topic? Come on up, sir.
I don't.
Yeah, well, sorry. And if, can you please keep it brief?
My name is Dennis Jones.
Please,
I'm married. Go back.
okay, okay, all right.
Talking to the mic, if you can.
How do you spell?
My name is
Jones?
Dennis Jones.
Jones.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I also wanted to tell you that I'm very difficult hearing anymore.
Okay.
My profession, I'm a retired pharmacist. I run the poison center at Avera Hospital when I worked. I also had worked for 4 previous governors. I know what I'm talking about as far as my background in education, from geology, chemistry, etc. And I never thought that I'd be here at this time speaking about what I'm going to talk about today. But it just so happens that this pipeline came along, and as Mr. Little alluded to, the fact that we found out about it after most of our elected officials knew about this, and we only found out it even going to affect us by going to a meeting in Sioux Falls in 21 or late 22, early 22. And I was sitting next to Jim Sowers, who I did not know. And when I saw the map, I says, Carolyn, this is going through your land. And he never said a word to me. And later that night, when I got ready to leave, he said, I'd like to introduce myself to you and I'd like your email address. I got an email address from him and he says, we're going to try and get the route changed for you. And I says, well, thank you. And that was that. Pretty soon I got a letter from him that says, we changed the route. For 6 months, we never heard a thing, and pretty soon it's back where it was before. Okay, what I want to talk about today is codified law, because I know about South Dakota codified law. And in the PUC and in the legislative codified law, it states there in section 49, it says that any pipeline or electrical line or any form of interstate transfer, the health, the safety, and the welfare of the people shall be protected at all cost. And when they met out in Pier, I was out to that meeting and it was addressed there. And it says Summit has not showed that they can protect the public from what Mr. Little just said. Now, when I got somebody in that's been affected by carbon dioxide, for your information, you maybe already know this carbon dioxide one is compressed to 2,020 pounds to 2,400. It becomes ice cold. It goes from a gas to a liquid, and it's known to us as dry ice. If that comes out of there, the first thing it wants to do, it wants to start dispersing and changing its form back to a gas. And at that time, it's heavier in oxygen. It will move the oxygen out
Okay,
of the way.
Mr. Jones, you're at 3 minutes, so if you could finish up,
Okay.
that'd be helpful.
Well, anyway, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, do you have any idea what it is? I don't try to embarrass you, but I'm just going to tell you, I always talk about climate change. Right now, the carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, in the world here, is 421 parts per million. That's little. When we went through the dinosaur ages and stuff like that, it was around 4,000. Bill Gates just got done with a meeting in New York City. And he says this climate change is maybe being a little bit over exaggerated. It is. It will not, he says, it will not affect this planet. It may affect some ways of our life. But this planet's not going to end because of carbon dioxide. And the last thing I wanted to bring out is, as elected officials by the public here in Watertown, you represent these people here, and I know there's been a senator here in this town that is very adversarial. And he's had a big effect on a lot of the other elected officials, and I've been around long enough to see what's going on, and they are now starting to see what's going on. But this carbon pipeline, it's not that we have to have it. It's owned by big money, Saudi Arabia, China, South Korea, BlackRock, Bill Gates. And so we're trying to protect. 300 years ago, just about 300 years ago plus, there was a battle at Yorktown. And where all our common people were fighting to get something that they owned because the British owned everything. One of the things under the Fifth Amendment is property rights. And property rights are protected against private businesses. And Summit is a private businesses. But the biggest thing you need to know about Summit, their plans, they're a builder of pipeline. They have no intention to keep in this pipeline very long. I know this for a fact. They're going to sell that pipeline. You know who's going to buy them? I'll tell you right now, big oil. And you want to know why big oil? You don't believe me? Ask Dr. Charlie Jaretko up in North Dakota. They want that pipeline to shove carbon dioxide through the shale to push the oil out in the Balkans. And this 50-foot corridor all the way from North Dakota to the Gulf, the Mississippi River, will have more pipelines put in that 50-foot, and that's to push oil out. We're not going to get away from fossil fuels. This is the hoax to get this money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
Anybody else on that particular topic? No. Okay, Mr. Little, come on. Can you?
I'll keep it short.
Okay.
Research like
Okay, yeah.
Very little.
Yeah.
Okay,
You want to talk into the mic, Mr. Wood, just so.
I farm south of town and I was on the board when we built the ethanol plant. And there's 37 investors, Gordon and I are two of them, that put 100,000 into that plant. Basically where things are at now, what Jim Sayers guaranteeing for this pipeline is $250,000 a year to Gordon and I. Okay, and it's pie in the sky. Because people that are gonna pay us that money are California. California has laws on the books. You can't buy a combustion engine, but after 2030, as soon as this pipeline is built, that pie in the sky is gone. But these mega corporations, John Deere is one of them, have investments in Summit Carbon. They're getting billions tax credits, billion. So down the road, Watertown's return from pipeline is going to be virtually zero. The big boys are going to cash in forever. Now, I was on the original line to go through to build the pipeline, you know, and I think, you know, Lee Schoenboy got it off of Harmony Hill and got it off of my land, so I don't have to worry about the pipeline on my land anymore. But the pipeline
reps right around my property. I have probably a mile of pipeline that is within this 2,000 or 1,800, 2,000 feet that is gonna be seriously impacted by a break in that pipeline. And the thing is, my wife last night asked me, if they build this pipeline, are we gonna move? I couldn't answer it. So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Terry.
Terry.
Thanks, Terry. Anybody else on that particular topic? All right, so I'm not seeing any hands, so, and that's just same topic? Okay, come on down.
It was Terry Little,
Yep,
is that
Terry.
right?
Go and state your name.
Terry Little? Okay.
Troy Skelton, have an acreage and farm near Grover and Hazel. On this pipeline, the route is proposed to go through 4 of our pieces of ground, basically between the natural gas pipeline and the railroad. What we see now with the railroad, it's an abandoned, whether it's abandoned or not, to be determined. They're not maintaining the intersection, so we've given up complete control to the last piece of eminent domain. I'm not against the ethanol industry, but it was built fast and furious. We should have about 1/3 of the ethanol plants that have scale and economics and efficiencies. And now what we have is small plants scattered all over, and the railroad is not incentivized to do what they should be doing. Every one of these grain elevators is now trucks or torn down. Grover, Hazel, Vienna, Willow Lake,
Mhm.
Huron. You know how many semis we had to put on the road because we are not using the last piece of eminent domain that was given to private industry, the BNSF. We've lost complete civilian oversight. And now they're trying to do the same thing and force the sale of the land. And every one of the properties that I either inherited, farm, or rent is within a half mile of this. Those 4 properties touch 6 of our original farm quarters. And I gotta decide, much like Terry and these other people, do you invest? Do I remodel houses? Do I live here? Or do I rent the ground and get away from it? Right? Should I have to carry oxygen canisters in case this thing blows? And so I've seen it as well. My dad has since passed. We learned about this about 3 months before his passing. And I've also become educated about it. I used to trade grain for ADM and CHS. I've benefited greatly from the ethanol industry, from the price of land to the price of the corn to the profitability. But if we start doing this, and we allow this pipeline, as unsafe as it is, for private gain, and we give up civilian control to these large companies, we no longer have private property rights. This is crazy what they're trying to force down. And they've done the same thing. They can force basically the survey of the land. We were also sued for that. We missed a court date and we couldn't get that stopped. And we did try to stop it. Thank God we did. Otherwise I'd be in Gordon situation, still fighting a lawsuit. So go survey it. All right. But this is insane what we're trying to do for tax credits, and it's not a safety issue. It's not going to solve the problem. So to stay under the 3 minutes, this is personal and it's private rights, and you are to jump on the bandwagon for this kind of project and support an unsafe pipeline that takes private property and gives it to private companies for private gain is not what this council is supposed to be doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
Thanks for being succinct. All right, anybody else on that particular topic? Okay. Sir, come on down.
Morning.
My name's Rick Schultz. Thanks for talking to us today. The only thing I want to bring up, it was going to be on our land to start out. And we did not find out that it wasn't going to be till my wife was testifying in front of the Senate hearing. And Mr. Schoenbeck was kind of, oh, Wendy, it's not even on your land anymore. So someone doesn't tell you what's going on. But I find little comfort now that it's moved off our land. It's still 560 some feet from my dad's front door. So without any county ordinances, like the other counties, Minnehaha's doing stuff, all the other ones are too. Without some kind of ordinance, they can put it wherever they want. They're not held in check at all. So I feel free to reach out to other counties. They can help with ordinances to protect the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. All right, anybody else on that topic? Okay, thank you all for testifying and trying to keep your comments brief. I guess we have another topic to hit on, so. Is it gonna be just one of you talking for
Yeah,
everybody? Okay, all right,
but I'll make it.
Yeah.
Try to make it short.
yeah, please do.
Could I ask one thing? Could I have Mark Kilker with Banner Associates, we call him on the phone, so he can listen?
Well, I was actually gonna see if we can just put this on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're not, I
So,
mean, we're just,
Okay.
all we can do is listen to folks.
But I just wanted him to listen, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right,
It'll be on YouTube. It'll, you know, yeah.
hey, I'm Nathan Reichling. I also farm and live south of Watertown here.
Sorry, your name again?
Nathan Reichling.
Okay.
And the reason I'm here, I know the county is proposing, then they got funding for replacing the bridge on 176th Street, County Road 20 south of town, which it
Yeah.
needs to be replaced. I get this. There's just a few concerns that we as farm owners to the south of this bridge have. The bridge is going to be redesigned, obviously allowing more water flow and faster water flow through the bridge, which every bridge through Watertown has done so far, which is understandable. The problem is on 177th Street, there is another bridge that was built 1931, that is old and basically almost to the point where to shut down. That is half the size of the bridge water is coming through upstream with no other outlets allowing water to get out. So if they're going to increase the water flow from the north bridge, which they've done all the way through Watertown, and the more development Watertown does, the more water goes down the river, just because there's natural occurrence. And our concern is that the water, if they build the bridge to the north, which needs to be done, but there's something that needs to be done to the south on 177th. And I know it's part of it's a township issue, but I also believe it's a county issue and it's a city issue that basically all heads need to come together to resolve the problem the right way. And I'm actually just asking if we could possibly get the idea, because 3 minutes is not nearly enough to go through everything, and Mark should be also involved in this.
Yeah, I mean, this time it's just for comments, so if you just want to kind of outline the issue, that's useful, and then it's not really set up for discussion.
Yep, so,
You have, handouts or something you want us to.
well, this is just the bridge proposal.
Okay.
But basically just there's measurements on the bridge that basically we're allowing more water to flow from the north to the south with no exiting point that's big enough to receive the water on the south, therefore flooding our ground, which in every year it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And we haven't had a real bad flood since 97. We've had some in between, but every year the water table is getting worse. And there's farm ground that we're losing due to the water, and it's only going to get worse with water flow increases. So, I mean, there's just some of the numbers that they come up with, I don't quite understand on this, and there's some pages missing, like cubic feet per second. I know there's a difference between the two bridges. I believe it was like 4 or 5 cubic feet, which doesn't seem like a lot, but a cubic foot over one day is 646,000 gallons of water. So all of a sudden you add 5 cubic feet to something, that's well over 3.5 million gallons of water that have nowhere to go other than to come sit on our ground and be inundated till the water flows further south slowly through a bridge.
Where did you say that bridge was located at 1931?
1931 is 177th Street.
177.
Yep, because the new bridge is proposed on 176th.
Yep. Star, okay.
So basically what we're kind of here, like the bridge, to put it away, the bridge on the new bridge on 177th Street is 127 foot wide. The bridge or 176th Street is 127 foot wide. The bridge on 177th Street is 80 foot. And that's the only outlet for water on that whole basically miles through that one bridge. Where north there's bridges and there's culverts where they're already going to propose to put this new bridge.
and just continue inundating the south section with more water. So I just basically, that's kind of the concern and
Yep, thank you. Thank you for letting us, for stating that. Okay. Any final parting remarks? I think we get the gist of it, so.
well, I was actually kind of wondering, and I know we had just got but conversation with Rick and possibly about the county being able to help maybe install culverts on 177th Street to help alleviate the water problem from, well, basically all the bridges through Watertown and continuing on.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
So how do you spell your last name again? It's,
REIC.
oh, right, oh, right there. Okay, I see on the
Yep.
flat map there. Okay,
Thank you, Nathan.
all right. All right, thank you.
We'll discuss
Any,
those comments, Nate. Thank you.
any other public, anything else for the public comment section of the agenda? Okay, not seeing any hands out there.
I do also have, so. The state auditors are here auditing for the year 2020 and 2021. They'd like to come in and introduce themselves. So whenever you would be ready to have that.
Why don't we do that? Yeah, that would probably be a good time. Now is probably a good time to do that.
Thanks, folks, for coming today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
for
you.
all coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not staying for the state auditors to introduce themselves.
I haven't found that bridge yet.
That's right.
That's a share.
Yeah, sure. So that's one who's talking. This is the one that really replacing.
Yeah, this is replacing, this is the money. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Well, and you know.
Hi.
All right.
And it's just good that you have a comment.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't want to put anybody
Got
out.
some new faces this year, huh?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Schaefer. I'm with Legislative Audit. We started the audit here. So.
Good.
Hello. So just was here to see if, I just kind of introduce ourselves. Do you have any questions on anything? And you may not have any today, but if something pops up, if you'd like to talk with any of us, we'll be here for next week or so, Oh, wow. We're just gonna be trying to get in and out of here while the weather's nice, because we're all coming
Yeah.
from way down south. So, I come from Parker this morning, so.
Wow.
But anyways, just was curious if you had any questions on anything or concerns. We don't have anything, and I think just a customary.
Customary audit.
Yep, that's what it is. It's just one of the things that come here to come by and visit, so.
But you're on for a week or so we can, if we think of
Yes,
something.
that's correct. Yep,
Right.
yep. And one thing is if board chairman is you, I think I talked with you 4 years ago, I remember the name. We do a little interview, and any of you can answer that. We just gonna talk a little bit. It's we're required by standards to ask, are you aware of any fraud or areas of fraud that can be controls over such? We just talked just briefly. Most of the time, there isn't anything. But it's just we're required to do it for one as one of the standards. So,
All right.
so that's really all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for coming.
Good luck.
But if you, would you have 2 minutes right after the meeting?
I'll try to pop in, yeah.
It would just be like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything, so now it brings us to still in the open, commissioners' comments. Thanks. Good.
Yes, I would just like to thank the folks for taking time out of their schedule to attend the meeting this morning. I think we got some good comments and I think it's important in our
Yep.
where we're at right now for them to be able to discuss that. So just want to say thanks for coming down.
I would agree. And that
One little back step here just a little bit when you said, is there going to be a commission, majority of commissioners? We have a Republican meeting tomorrow noon.
Yeah.
at Pizza Ranch.
Yep, I think I mentioned that.
Yeah, Chair, can I make one correction, just so I can have it correct in the minutes?
Sure.
So the total that I gave you on that ES geological on those stations is actually $11,320. That first amount was for the first, there's 2 more up by Waverly, one by Waverly, one by South Shore. The 3 that were the 8,310 was the Sioux River, Mud Creek, and then south of Rawville. So I apologize for that. So the actual total amount is 11,320.
Yeah, I was wondering about
Yeah.
that.
After I said it too, and I got looking at him like, yeah,
Okay, so
that's what the accurate
Okay,
amount
it's
is, so.
we can vote on it again, but I think
It's just-
I think we're okay. So I mean, this is something. to
Just
do.
so you know.
All right, all right,
Yeah,
all right.
As long as the ones who made the motions know it and they're okay with it, I think we're fine.
Okay, and then.
fine, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
I made the motion.
all right.
All right, let's see, so commissioner comments, any other? Okay, just one, what, we had the, CCJC meeting last night. The big, thing we focused on was what do we do next? Now that we know we still need to deal with our jail issues. So that leaves us back to seeking an expert opinion. So and we'll be talking about this next week as commissioners, but basically the CCGAC recommended that we publish an RFP for architectural services for pre-design. With the hope that we can save some money by leveraging all the stuff that we did. So basically a lot of the data, the trend analysis and stuff would be an update. And probably the key thing, I think we're all concerned, is we want to make sure we're getting good bang for the buck. So if there's any way to use the current facility, stipulate that they look at options to do that. So, but you'll see a draft RFP in the agenda packet. If you want a copy now, I can provide that to you. I think I had an extra one that I gave to Commissioner Johnson, but I think I might have one extra one. So for one of you guys, and
I'll be attending the South Dakota Retirement Board meeting Thursday.
all right,
I'll be leaving tomorrow, so.
okay.
Hopefully we get good
Probably.
news back from you.
What's that?
Hopefully we get good news back from you.
Oh, yeah, it's, I've looked at all the reports and that's good news.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
the other thing I should let you know, just thank you for what Commissioner Johnson reminded me. So next week, so it's after our meeting next week, we have a South Dakota County Commissioners Association board meeting. So I'm the Sioux Valley rep right now, so I'll be attending that. Mostly talking about legislative stuff again, what the legislative priorities are going to be. Again, a lot of things like the consolidation of services, ways that maybe the state was going to want to encourage that as a cost saving measure. But again, they're kind of balancing with their own state budget versus how much they can help local governments. And then the other, the pipeline topic does come up from time to time. So the way that gets characterized, it depends on the legislator that you're talking to. Some echo the sentiments that we heard today. But at the same time, they kind of say, well, if we get that they're seeing if a county doesn't want a pipeline, well, then that means they don't want the tax revenue, and then they're less inclined to help, so that you get that kind of like back and forth. So, but
1:00
just to-
today is the governor's budget report for next year. So if you're having trouble sleeping this afternoon, taking your nap, tune in.
those words from Commissioner Johnson. Thank you. So, all right. All right. Any, I think we have a need for an executive session. One was personnel. I think there is one, I guess a security related one.
I
for
move that
safety.
we adjourn to.
So
executive
that's, we got contracts, personnel, and a safety thing. Okay. All right, so you move, we do have a motion by Johnson, second by Schwer to go into executive session. There will not likely be any action afterwards. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those say no. Okay, we are in executive session.